get to win this one, it would have made for, I mean, glorious for such person. Only few tennis stars are privileged to have won the Sunshine Double. This is quite unfortunate for Iga Swiatek.
Quite unfortunate to say the least. And looking at her performance at the Indian Wells, you expected her to also, keep up that high tempo going to the Miami Open. And of course, in her first game, she did pretty well, and she gave us this high hope of at least going far in this Miami Open. But then I think this one is a major setback because I didn't see it coming. I was actually monitoring the game, with a keen interest, even before we came into the studio. But quite unfortunate that Iga Swiatek had to lose that very well in that manner. I think it's a disappointing one, and I think this is really going to affect, her, stand when it has to do with, when the table tennis, ranking is released for this month. It will definitely affect her ranking out there. But because I don't expect her to lose this very one. But then this is what we get to see in the game out there. You can't always have it your way at all the time. It simply tells you that she wasn't too prepared for this one, and that she lost to a better.
Do you think it will affect her ranking? Because obviously she just won last week,
yeah.
And getting to come this one, Kingsley. I don't think if because Sabalenka and Coco Gauff and Osaka too,
yeah.
And they never won in the last in the last few weeks. They've not. So I'm just wondering how that will affect her rankings. Maybe the point margin will reduce, but I don't think it will affect the difference between herself and the other two on the third and the second position.
Yeah, I don't think to affect her. Looking at disparity, you look at she has been able to get gather points over and over the previous tournaments. We saw what she was able to do in the India Wells, ATP 1000, able to gather over 1,000 points, the last competitions. And looking at her compatriots, her colleagues down there, the likes of Coco Gauff, she also has been ousted out, and only Sabalenka still remains in the competition. So except Sabalenka goes on to win, maybe she might be able to close that gap. But I don't think it's going to affect her position as world number one.
This is this is the round of 16, and so if you win, you qualify to the fourth round. And one lady who have qualified to the fourth round is a French 23rd seed, and that is Caroline Garcia. Stormed the Coco Gauff in the early hours of today. In a 6-2, 6-3, 6-1, 6-2 victory there for her. Very, very, very. Coco Gauff. Since winning the is in nearly syndrome, and I just hope we're not going to start seeing what transpired between, although herself you get to see her in fine fashion, but she loses the opponent that you expect her to beat, because as of last year she was flawless to the extent that she goes to every tournament win, but the only thing that was holding her was the fact that she was not able to win a Grand Slam. And now that she has won a Grand Slam, it's been difficult for Coco Gauff to win some of these Sunshine Doubles and all that, but we're not seeing her anywhere soon. It means that there's a change in narrative, and I'm asking why.
For me, I think she truly needs to go back and work on some of her games out there, because looking at her last outing, it wasn't that bad, but then I think if you want to stay very relevant on the top out there, you need to show this consistency, because consistency is what takes you to the top out there. If you can't actually display this consistency, every tournament, then you are not going to be stand out as one of the best. Though Coco Gauff has been able to do a great job for herself, looking at what she has achieved over the past 2 years, you will say yes, she's doing pretty well. But then when it matters most, she seems to falter, just like Onjoboa, the mere success syndrome that has been haunting her as well. So I think that is the same thing with Coco Gauff. Whenever you expect Coco Gauff to to hit her peak, that is when she just crumbles like a pack of cards. I think for me, it really need to go back into the drawing board and look at some of the areas she needs to improve on her game to ensure that consistency.
In this particular one, 6-7, 3-6, it ended in her favor. And of course, we have other in the male category. A lot has transferred. Andy Murray certainly will not be in the mix. But before we talk about Andy Murray, let's look at what has happened in the last couple of hours. Carlos Alcaraz is through to the next round, because of victory against Guy Monfils. 6-2, 6-4, it ended in that encounter. Grigor Dimitrov is also through against Yannick Hoffman in that encounter, 6-1, 6-love. Musetti is also through against Ben Sheaton, and of course Thomas Makach, that man who defeated Andy. Is it Andy Murray? Yes.
Yeah.
Andy Murray is also through because he defeated Almadi in this particular one. We are seeing a game ongoing now between Dominic Koefa and Daniel Medvedev, as well as Kasper Ruud and Nicolas Jarry. These two games are ongoing at stands now. But let's talk about the games we have seen in the ATP. Thomas Makach looks like a young lad who is about writing his name, in history, because he's now through to the quarterfinal stages of this particular encounter, courtesy of that victory against his counterpart, Almadi this evening. But then he also defeated Andy Murray, or maybe it was because of his fine nature that caused him that injury that he hesitated the tournament before the end of the game.
For me, I think it's just injury. I do not think it's the brilliance of.
But you think that he would have stood this man?
Definitely, for me, I think Andy Murray should have been able to defeat him out there if all things been equal. You saw how they started the game. Andy Murray with his pace out there, how he was able to dispense his serves out there, especially in the fourth set out there. I think he was on for the game. Session of that setback injury we saw in the second quarter, round 2 of the game, where he actually broke down and had to resort to the doctor to come and check him and see what seems to be the problem. At some point we thought maybe it's going to continue, but then as the game progresses on, we discovered that he was unable to carry on. So I think for me it's just about the injury to Andy Murray that actually gave his opponent the advantage, and not about him better than Andy Murray.
And then, of course, a lot still hoping on. Talking about Andy Murray, I mean, this injury concern, crucial ligament. I don't know how far this will be, but I think that this will also affect him as much as the hip surgery we saw the last time, Palebo.
No, I don't think it's up to what the hip surgery cost Andy Murray, but I definitely think that it's time for Andy Murray, to drop the racket. I think his time is done. His body is always telling him, he's giving him the signs that he's not going to play tennis for any much longer. And I think the earlier he accepts the fact, the better for him, because we've seen him over the past few years. He has been going in and out of the hospital, going in and out of injury, and it has not really been a great shape for Andy Murray. He has been struggling with injury. When you expect Andy Murray, he tries to get back to his best. You see him building up that confidence again. He goes back into injury. So I think Andy Murray, maybe tennis is not maybe just for him. He's a great tennis player. He has the talent, but his body is not fit for the sport. We know him. We know what he does. We know how he's able to play. We know the talent that Andy Murray possesses. But look at what injury has done for him. He has lost a lot of years. He has lost up to 4 years down to injury. Look at how he has been able to lose. Going by the injuries he has had, it's been really, really tough for Andy Murray. So for me, Andy Murray should just call it a quit at this time.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I will go with Palebo, because again, age, I think, is another factor that is telling on him. At 36, you don't expect him to be at his peak, when he was like 21, 22, 25 or thereabouts. So I think age is just one thing that you can't actually cheat nature, and it's beginning to tell on him. And you discover that you find it very, very difficult to recover from an injury when age is telling on you. Unlike when you are still young, in between the age bracket of 30 downward, you recover quickly, but when you are, you're above 35 and all of that, you find it difficult to recover from injury. So coupled with all of this, I think it's just time for him to throw in the towel and possibly, pave way for the other young champs to come and, also stake their claim in the tennis world.
Yeah, other young champs to come and stake their claims, and but let's see how it goes. In the coming days, we've got to see how we're yet to hear how long he will stay apart or stay away from tennis. But we wish him well and hope that he will recover on time to be part of tennis. That's his passion. That's what he craved for. And I wish you have that time, to continue to show his skill in that direction. But let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, we will head straight to the NBA, look at some results, and then also move now to football matters. We are the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Greenwoods went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it. To catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe, stay focused on The Fact Today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honourable
You human trafficker.
Honourable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, is Arena, where they got that particular one. And so a lot of games we can tell. But before I bring in the guys, a lot of result: New York Knicks 124 against the Detroit Pistons 99. Toronto Raptors also lost at home 88 against 96 of Brooklyn Nets. And then Chicago Bulls 105 against, and of course, we cannot but say that the NBA is getting hot on daily basis, and a lot to talk about when it comes to bringing some of this update from the side. And one thing also important is Denver Nuggets also got maximum win against the counterpart from Mavis Grizzle 128-103 in a very clingy encounter. 19,536 basketball spectators we saw at the Ball Arena. The Ball Arena
carry the burden of the team in his shoulder any day, any time when Jokic is up and kicking. Be rest assured that Denver Nuggets would definitely go home, and that is what we are seeing. The wins is just falling off the wagon as it stands right now. Some of the big teams is beginning to show the prowess what they are made of, because the regular season is about to end, and of course the playoff is what next. And all of these teams, they are adjusting to ensure that they make it through to the playoff.
Well, that's how far we can go talking about NBA this evening. But away from NBA now, this that looks like we're going to have it decided on the last day of the season. I don't know if you go with me on that, Departable.
Yeah, I agree with you on this issue. You look at this season, it has been really, from the start of the season, it wasn't looking so competitive, but as the season goes by, I mean, the league looks more competitive than it was. We haven't seen a league as competitive as this for the past 3 years, and coming into the league, we have up to 4 teams still fighting for the trophy. No team yet has decided. You don't have any 2 clear-cut teams fighting for the trophy. So I think it's really a good one coming from the NPFL.
Let's take a look at Enugu Rangers. They seem to be, I mean, the most talked about in recent time, because they have gone 6 games unbeaten, and it looks like they have a very strong advantage of holding on to this one. In the last 8 years, the last time they won the championship after many years was when Imama Amapakabo did the magic with them, in recent time. But then, let's look at their effort. Fidelis Ilechukwu, to me, seems to be one of the finest coach in the country as it stands now, and that's because he has been able to translate results and performance consistently from one club to the team. And also, you talk about Rangers FC, you talk about Remo Stars, you talk about Lobby Stars, you talk about the Yimba Football Club, you talk about Plateau United, you talk about Kano Pillars, you talk about Casino United, and then Shooting Stars. Shooting Stars would have had 3 points if they had won the game, but they lost that particular one, and that stopped that with that streak so far. Let's look at this team. which of this team, because the winner of the league, we emanate from one of these teams. And that's sure at this point, with 11 points to go, 11 matches to go, you naturally just think that there's no, except Rivers United, who are out of these names I've called.
Let's say he gets the job of the Super Eagles coach of Nigeria. Is he going to resign as the coach of Enyimba? What would that hold for their title race? Or how will he be able to balance it, going in as the Super Eagles coach and also as the Enyimba coach? So, there are a lot of mathematics that needs to be solved. Also, looking at Castina United, where their coach, recently, resigned from the position, there. So it's going to be, how is the new coach going to take over this team? Are we going to see a change in results, a change in dynamics there? You look at the likes of...
I mean, a lot of them don't really talk about them, but they have been very good. Casina United, they're just there. You don't see them battle for relegation. They're just a mid-table team. I mean, you always see them. It's difficult to see Casina United battle for relegation. And that's, for me, very quite impressive. Because if you look at even Sporting Lagos, but if you look at the down part of it, the relegation battle, you think that it's still very open. I mean, it's even difficult because a team you see in relegation right now, which of course the lowest is Gombe United with 21 points, so followed by Heartland with 23 points. The dynamic from now to the next 11 games, things can really change. So I think it's safe to not to go there now because a lot can still change from now to there.
Definitely, a lot will still change from now to then. We still see the likes of for the first time. Teams like Sporting Lagos as well, they are new. They are
international scene, but most especially, I think what has not drawn the interest of Nigerians are, the quality of friendlies that Nigeria got to play. We're still playing our counterpart, our fellow West Africans, Ghana and Mali. We were supposed to play Argentina, and I thought that would have brought in more, that would have been more. It should have brought in more, I don't know. It would have brought in more. The euphoria would have been higher than what we've seen now. So I think it has to do with the quality of friendlies we play. Of course, playing Ghana, it was a match that a lot of Nigerians
about this game is that this is going to be the 8th time that they're meeting in 8 years. The last time they met was in 2016, and it promises to be a different game altogether. Nigeria have won 4 out of those games, and just once Mali have won. That means the rest ended in draws. What do you expect from tonight's encounter, Michael?
For me, I don't expect any change of narrative. We're looking at the statistics, it's very clear. We've always had the upper hand against the Malians. We are head and shoulder above the narrative. But then, looking at the fact that this is friendly games, and of course, it's an interim coach that's in charge, you want to also prove a point.
For Nigeria, we look at how the fine form Nigeria is. The problem of Nigeria has always been getting that first choice goalkeeper, and Nigeria has finally fixed that problem, and we've seen how it has worked out for them, down at the AFCON and, back to the international friendly, of which we haven't won. We haven't won a friendly before this Ghana game in a very long while. So I think looking at it, it's going to be a very tough game for Mali, not for Nigeria. Nigeria is going to cruise this game. But what I really want to see in this game is how Finidi George is going to be tactically fluid, in this game. We have a lot of wide players coming into the squad. The likes of Nathan Taylor is there, Ademola Lookman is there, Sadiq Umar is also there. So I would love to see if Nigeria could play in a 4-3.